Yes, there are 2 O's in Goose.
Channeling Top Gun.
Are you? You've been on a Top Gun kick today.
Kind of want to watch it.
Well, you should.
I want to watch Top Gun.
Being my wingman.
I feel the need.
The need for speed.
I want to watch Top Gun, go play some 2-on-2 volleyball.
Okay.
That scene was so useless.
It absolutely was. Can I take a shower before we eat? No. Dinner's done. Okay.
I need to keep reading.
Yeah. Did you read the whole thing?
I read here.
That's not enough. Okay. Do you want me to hit record?
Didn't you already?
Yes.
I figured you had. So we're it's a Hospitality Authority podcast. We're here on the beautiful campus of the Leadership Center in Aurora, Nebraska. And well, I'm here. I'm Kurt. Miley's here. Say hi, Miley.
Hello.
Michaela's here.
Hi.
Michaela is actually working, so if she is silent, that's why. It's not because she doesn't want to say things.
Would you not call our podcast work?
Huh?
We're working.
Yeah, we're doing like fun work.
Okay.
And we're also joined today by a guest.
Yes.
He'd be our first guest, but our second guest
Of the season.
Of the season, because this is episode 2B.
2B, yeah.
This is episode 2B. Well, season 2, episode 2B.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Because
yeah.
2A, we had technical difficulties, and stuff happens. I'm telling you, in showbiz, things happen.
The show goes on.
So here we are with Jakob Loe. How right did I say it?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Pretty good
Yeah.
for
Jakob Loe.
I just I don't know what that sound is, because
I
when
don't
he
either.
says it, I don't think I can.
How do you
make
say it?
What?
Your
Your
name.
name.
Last name?
Your name is.
Jakob.
And what's the last?
Loe.
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 Loe. Loe.
Oh.
We gotta go.
Yeah.
So Jakob is from Norway. He was actually, I believe, he fell off of a truck on I-80, and Miley and John found him near the Henderson exit, and he's been living with them since like July or something.
That's almost accurate. It was the other side of Grand Island, though.
It was like the Alda exit.
Yeah, it was more so. It's kind of like that stray cat that showed up at my house in May.
Over by the Crane Sanctuary.
Yeah.
So the cat was possibly Wyoming. Maybe it could have been.
Could have
a Wyoming
been.
cat.
They found it on I-80 and they rescued it.
Jakob is from Norway. He is a direct descendant of Leif Erikson, famous Viking chieftain. I think that's true, right? If it's not, just go with it, Jakob.
He also comes from a long line of really great orienteers and professional handball players.
So orienteers are people who don't get lost.
Well running.
And handball players are it's like racquetball, but lost my racket.
So I might as well play with my hands.
Yep.
The poor guy. So Jakob is actually a foreign exchange student from Norway, a student at Aurora High School, and he's off school today because he's just so wise and a good planner, and he's doing some job shadowing today here at the Leadership Center.
Who are you job shadowing today, Jakob?
Kurt Wissenberg.
Yes.
Yeah, and what's weird is I did so much this morning before he got here that I wish he'd have been here to see how to change the coffee.
That would have really
Inside.
been helpful, actually.
Yeah, because then he could do it. There are several steps. There are.
There are.
A, you got to know what the coffee looks like.
It's in a box.
Right? It's in a box. You got to know where it's kept.
In the fridge.
But then you have to know where it's also kept in the freezer.
Freezer.
Because that one's got to go in the fridge to thaw for the next time.
Yeah. And coffee is what makes the world go. Do you know that Jakob does not drink coffee?
You know, I didn't drink coffee at his age.
You didn't?
No, I didn't drink coffee till college.
Michaela, when did you start drinking coffee?
I had my first cup when I was a freshman in college, and never again until, like, honestly, I don't know when.
Working here.
Well, I mean, I had coffee, but it was, like, sugar in a cup, I guess. And then when I started here, I drank tea, and then I eventually became a coffee drinker.
And she went from drinking all the sugary coffee to drinking black coffee.
Mm,
That is what she drinks.
like a real person.
She is a real
I don't
person.
like creamer, and I don't like sugar. I just don't.
I get in creamer moods. And then sometimes they'll just go totally black for a long time. It's kind of like salad dressing. Like I'll get in a ranch mood.
And then
I'll
you get in a Dorothy mood.
Yeah, Dorothy Lynch mood. Which is weird. Okay, so what's my favorite kind of dressing?
Italian.
Thousand Island. And we don't
We have it sometimes.
we don't typically have
Do you know who makes really good Thousand Island dressing on our staff?
Kraft.
No, Barb Olson.
Mm. Like homemade Thousand Island.
Homemade Thousand
I
Island.
didn't even know what it is. It's like mayonnaise or ketchup.
It's a secret.
They go to 1,000 different islands.
They do.
Select an
Yeah,
ingredient from each
it
island.
is. It is. Do you think that it has the name Thousand Island because it's got pickle relish in it and there's like chunks, so it's like an island?
That could be.
I don't know.
You know, when I was a kid, they didn't have it in bottles. It was in jars.
Yeah,
Thousand Island
because
was in
it's so
jars.
thick.
Yeah. And then when they came out with Thousand Island in like bottles, I was like, what is this witchcraft?
Well, now it's super smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It might have been better before,
It was.
back in the day.
Michaela, could you Google where Thousand Island sauce got its name, or Thousand Island dressing got its name? Michaela is our resident researcher as well.
She's like...
She's a sleuth.
For those of you, you listeners out there know that I'm a fan of the Joe Rogan podcast. And he has Young Jamie.
Yes.
So Michaela is like our Young Jamie.
Only better looking and nicer.
I don't even know what Young Jamie looks like.
She's better looking and she's nicer. Take that, Joe Rogan.
Whoa.
Dude.
Calling out Joe Rogan. Hey, Joe, if you could, share this link on your podcast. We would
I think that Joe Rogan should have us there.
We're going to start sending you links on Instagram. Listen to our podcast.
That's what it is. That's what I'm going to do.
Thousand Island dressing was named in honor of the beautiful area where it was first prepared, Thousand Islands, New York. Story goes, in the early 20th century, a fishing guide's wife, Sophie Lalonde, I don't know,
Let's just call it Loe.
made the condiment for her husband's shore dinner. Actress May Irwin liked it so much she requested the recipe.
Well, that's delicious.
It's pretty good on fish, too.
I was just
fried
thinking,
fish.
So
it would be really
between
good on fish.
1900 and 1904.
Okay. Speaking of fish, Jakob, do you eat, oh gosh, what is that sauce called that I get from Denmark? It's yellow. It's really good on fish.
Mustard.
No.
It's different.
Remoulade.
No, don't eat that.
Is it because you don't serve it in Norway, or you don't like it because you don't care for condiments?
Maybe a bit of both.
Because you don't care for condiments on anything unless it's Alfredo sauce on pasta.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yep.
He doesn't sauce.
You don't sauce?
No.
Is Norwegian food not a saucy food?
Why would you need sauce? It's unhealthy and it just takes the taste away.
I keep forgetting he's a healthy person.
He's not a healthy person. The kid lives off a bag of Snickers and Skittles and a Mountain Dew.
Gatorade. Likes Gatorade.
Yeah. I like that he's playing healthy on a podcast. It's almost like playing healthy on TV. Whew.
What about applesauce?
We make it at our house.
I've never cared for it.
I don't eat it.
Weird, isn't it? You're allergic. It'll make you sick. But I even when I was a kid, I didn't eat applesauce.
Do you know, I think
Just
it's
didn't care for
weird.
it.
Apple butter.
Yeah, that is weird.
It is. It's not appetizing looking. It's not butter. And you put it on bread or toast. It's just weird.
It's okay on toast. And I get why you have to do it. It's because you can't make jelly out of apples,
You
right?
can make jelly out of apples.
But it must be easier to make the apple butter.
I think what happened is apple butter came about because they overcooked applesauce. And they had this thick mixture that wasn't applesauce because it was too thick. So they were like, apple butter.
Doesn't your husband sometimes make it?
We make it, yeah.
'Cause I think I got a jar of it.
You did, probably. It is the cast off.
It's what?
It's kind of the cast off when you cook it down too far or you have a bunch of leftover apple and we make it because people ask us for it every year.
Because some people really like it. I think it's okay on toast. But I mean, I don't go seek it out.
I don't seek out apples.
Like, do they sell it in the store? Apple
They
butter?
do. They do. I also think they serve it at that one restaurant that has the porch on it with the white rocking
Barrel.
Cracker Barrel.
Cracker Barrel.
I think they serve it there.
Oh yeah, 100% they do.
Okay.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Why would you eat apple butter when you can have biscuits and honey?
Or normal apples.
Or just an apple.
Well, I don't know why you'd eat an apple.
Yeah.
Because it's good.
Jakob was really excited when he learned there was apple trees behind his house.
Yep.
Can eat an apple every day.
There's got to be apple trees in Norway, right?
Yeah, of course.
They're a good, cool weather fruit tree.
You change your route home from school to go by the house with apples.
Yeah.
Because then you can just run into the garden and take one.
So you're against sauces, but you're okay with stealing things.
God, that's what I heard.
We don't steal, we borrow.
So you're giving the apples back?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't want to know about.
I will gladly give you 2 apples for 1 apple today.
Or do you think he just takes his pet polar bear with him? And the lady's like, dude, take the apples. I don't want to deal with your polar bear.
But everybody's got a polar
Is your
bear.
polar bear named Lars?
No, my uncle is.
Ole? Sven?
His uncle.
Well, everybody's got an Uncle Lars, right?
Yeah.
Duh. Don't you have an Uncle Lars?
I don't, but I went to school with a great guy named Lars.
Lars.
He's a really nice
Lars.
guy. He looked a little bit like the Keebler elf.
I've told this before, but I grew up in a small town in Nebraska called Newman Grove, and it was settled by Norwegian immigrants. And if you go to the cemetery, you can find multiple Lars Larsons and Ole Olsons and Sven Svenssons. They're there. Nels Nelson, another good one.
Do you know a Nels or an Ole or a Sven?
No.
Do you know people?
They shipped them all to Nebraska.
Oh, I see. In
And
Minnesota. Michaela, do you have an uncle named Lars?
No, I don't.
Ole?
My dad's nickname is Ole.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's great. Okay. So we're really excited that we have another international contingency on the podcast. This is a theme. It is the second time we've done it.
It might be our specialty.
It could be. I don't know. Lauren had some insight. We could ask him someday. We're not going to have him call, though, because it seems to not work with the podcasting.
No, we don't want to do that.
No. Anyway, so let's chat. Kurt.
So, Jakob, you're here on a job shadow activity for school.
Yep.
And so I wrote a blog last week about how unemployment is really low right now in the United States in general and really low in Nebraska in particular, and how companies are having trouble finding the right people and then keeping employees, good employees. And I made you read it.
Yeah, I read it. It was interesting.
What was interesting?
The fact that you had that low unemployment rate is pretty interesting because I think that's very different from Europe.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's at a record low right now, like 2.8% in Nebraska. I don't know that it's ever been that low.
I don't know.
Since, I don't know, wartime?
Should we ask Miss Michaela?
I don't know. Historical Nebraska unemployment rate.
Give me a second.
Okay. So, what is work? Well, you have not had an actual job, right? Correct? You've worked for people, but you haven't went in and applied for a job.
Mm-hmm.
But you've helped.
Yep.
Okay. Do you think will you apply for a job this year when you move back?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Do you know what you want to do, or what are the options for a person your age in Norway?
Well, when you're 18, it's way easier to get a job because you can drive. That's a main thing, and then you can also sell all stuff. Instead of if you're working in a store, you can't sell like alcohol and stuff.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So it's like grocery stores and maybe do work for a church or a big property.
Okay.
Like gardening.
Okay.
That's pretty similar to the United States, really. If you can't drive, it's tough to get a job. If you're not 18, it's easier than if you're... if you're not 18, it's harder.
Yeah, I know when I started here just about 10 years ago, we worked with our insurance agent to do some things so that we could hire 16 and older versus 18 and older. And part of that has to do with chemicals and driving. Part of that has to do with fryers or equipment. But I really wanted the opportunity to work with youth because it's hard to complain about a job market and a workforce if you're not proactively doing something to make a positive impact. And I think it's our responsibility to try to help shape what we're looking for. So.
Well, I think of like Mackenzie. Mm-hmm. We hired her like before her 16th birthday.
Yeah.
And then once she turned 16, she started.
She worked on her birthday.
Like on her birthday.
She worked 8 hours on her birthday with a smile.
Right. And the thing is, she's a good worker. We want to keep her. Mm-hmm. She does well.
You know what's really cool about her?
Hopefully we have her for a couple of years.
So what's cool about Mackenzie, Michaela and I learned that this summer, was that we were working things, and Mackenzie had been busy with some things, and then she called and said, "Oh, my plans changed. I have availability. Is there anything I can do?" And her direct report manager said, "There isn't anything in the kitchen. However, if you want to check with Miley and Michaela," and she came in and she cut paper and she hung curtains and hung lights. Yeah, she was here. And then she came back in the next morning, and she was so excited to have something to do and to be a part of something. Offered to come in and clean up. Like she's really great. But, I think we have a tendency to attract a lot of that. When I look back at the workforce specifically in our facilities department, one of the kids that comes to mind is Josh Aspergen. He kept, from the time he was like 12, he'd ask, "What does it take to work here?" I'm like, "You've turned 16. What does it have to take to work here?" You have to work 16. On his 16th birthday, before he went to school, he dropped off his job application and then called at lunch from the office to see if he could interview. Came and interviewed that day. And then he worked for us. And then, so responsible that when Dario went on a vacation for 2 weeks, Josh took Dario's spot. And he took it really seriously. I was really impressed with how he handled that. When we had some weird things happen with like an air conditioner and stuff, and he took it real serious, and he worked really hard to make things happen. He worked for Michaela as an intern. I think that was a bit of a shift for him, and it was a learning curve, but I think he did well. But we see a lot of kids, when can I work here? When can I work here? And I like that. I think it's great. Michaela, what'd you find on unemployment?
So I don't know if this is true, but we didn't start recording unemployment until 1990. At least that's the earliest I can find. So September of 1990, we had an unemployment rate of 2.3% in Nebraska. And we are always, in the last 30 years, been under the national unemployment rate significantly.
Do you think that has to do with the fact that we are a lot of farmers and ranchers? So we're self-employed?
Well, the thing is, on the unemployment stats, I think this is true, that they don't count seasonal agricultural jobs.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of weird, but
Okay.
The lowest in the United States history of unemployment was, at least until like 1940, is 1953, and it was 2.5%.
Wow. Wow.
baby boomers starting businesses after the war.
And our highest was 10.8, and that was in 1982.
82.
What was happening in 82?
High unemployment.
Well, we would have just
Historically,
seen
Cold War.
I was gonna say Cold War. We would have just seen the start of the fall of the hog markets. We'd be going into a drought.
It was the 80s farm crisis was
Yeah.
not quite in full swing yet.
Yeah, not quite, but it would be getting there.
Yep.
So yeah. Huh. Okay. Interesting.
Maybe Jimmy Carter was a
Well,
bad president.
wait.
Well,
Well, it was 1990. I was on seasonally adjusted. This is not seasonally adjusted.
Okay.
It spikes a lot more.
Okay.
We had 1.9% in 1990.
In 1990, 9%
9%.
nationally or in Nebraska?
Nebraska.
Okay, what was it nationally then? Does it say?
Yeah. Like around 5.5%.
Well, wow. So we're 3% under.
mm-hmm.
We average probably 2 to 3% under.
Okay.
Always.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think that when unemployment gets this low, I think that employers, whether they're big or small, I think they start worrying a little bit.
I know
Yeah.
as an employer, I do worry a little bit.
What
Not a
we were
little
talking
bit.
about at lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Convenience store with the person with the tattoo
Yeah.
on the hands
That
that
says
says naughty things.
naughty things. That it's not a hello.
It's not all
Definitely, it's an abrasive hello, if nothing else.
yeah.
It's interesting. So I've gotten to see since I've been here, but then I also was in Detroit before I came here. So to get to see what job markets look like and how that impacts people and who's coming through the doors, it's really interesting. It also is very interesting to see the motivation and the hunger behind the person applying for the job. We are currently running some ads here for the Leadership Center, and we've been very specific about what we're looking for because we have some very specific needs. And it's been very interesting to me that on the application, there's a letter from me inviting them to apply, but it tells them what we're looking for. It tells them where to find more information about us. And it very specifically says the 3 things that we're hiring for. And I've found it very fascinating how many people have just seen that we're hiring and they want to work for us, which I think is amazing. But they don't come close to touching any of the 3 things we're currently hiring for. And while I appreciate that they call us, when I have to tell them, I'm really sorry, but these are the 3 things we're hiring for right now. And they go, but I don't fit those and I want a job. And I understand that, but I don't have one. And so it's been really, really interesting. It also has been really interesting the people who do qualify and how many of them still have not read the tools or utilized the tools that we've put out there to be used. Michaela uses a great online resource for us. It's been very successful for us. But we've gotten 2 applications for there, and it makes absolutely, utterly no sense to why they're applying for the job. None. Not their statement of why, not their application, not their resume. It's like they're just applying to apply, and they're not putting any thought there. And I sometimes wonder, is that because our job, our unemployment is so low that they think that anyone's just going to hire anyone? Like we've put, rules out the door, or they don't care. So are they checking off a list for, let's say, they are on unemployment and they have to apply, so they're trying to check a box?
That could be.
And it could be. But it infuriates me a little bit as an employer because I try to make very thoughtful decisions because it impacts the people who work for me and the people we serve. And I don't want to hire people who aren't thoughtful in their process either. Well, we can't afford to. So.
I think maybe it's you've got some people who have a jacked up mindset where they don't have a job or they got let go from their last job, and so they make this half-hearted effort to get another job, and then when they don't get a call back, they can I hate to say it, go on Facebook and say, struck out again, you know.
Oh gosh. What was
know.
the thing you saw? You saw an individual on Facebook who had put, never in my life have I walked into a place and gotten hired on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, I understand why they made that decision to make a move. Two things were very interesting to me. One, that they left their last job without any notice.
0 days notice. 0
days notice.
Common courtesy is 2 weeks, by the way.
Yes, at least. And so 0 notice. And I think it's great that they got hired on the spot. But I wonder what's going to happen to that employer when something nicer comes along or easier comes along. Are they going to get on social media and say, yay, I got a new job, and I start tomorrow, or I started today, and it means that they didn't show up to work, or they didn't give proper notice. So that part was appalling, because they were an adult. But it was also appalling to me because there's a cachet out there of what you put on the interwebs. And if they're anything like most job places, you can find that.
You go digging.
And as an employer, if Michaela said, hey, I did some checking on an individual and I want you to know that they've had 3 posts on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or whatever, that they have really excited that they got hired on the spot, gave for them, but they also started their job and did not give notice. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to no.
Don't really want to hire somebody that's not going to give you notice in turn, you know.
I want to be more than a paycheck. So, yeah.
So to retain employees.
Yeah.
Which is a lot easier than hiring. It's kind of like customers. It's easier to retain a customer than to find a new one.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier to retain a good employee who you've trained, who you know, than it is to go find someone else. So how do you keep them? All right, so I stumbled upon a study. It's in the blog. I don't remember what it is. I'm not going to cite it now. But the number one...
We'll put the blog in the comments, though, so they can see it. So then it'll be exciting.
Yeah, and then you have to read it. Salary is a good motivator. But it's only the second highest motivator or reason people keep or stay at a job. Which, you know, money talks.
It does.
Let's face it.
Yep.
It is a huge factor. Everybody needs money. But it wasn't number one. Number one was respect. Feeling as if their employer respects them and respects aspects of their job and respects them to do a good job and have some independence. Number 3 was they trust their supervisors.
That is, I think we do that very well here.
What do you think, Jacob? Are those valuable? I mean, do you agree with that summary?
Are you a millennial?
What do you mean by that?
I think he's a premillennial.
I don't know.
He's only like 12. How old are you?
17.
17.
What you can't see, podcast audience, is that he just shook his head at Kurt like, I can't even believe you would say I was 12.
Jerk.
No. He is Gen Z, I believe.
Gen Z.
You're Gen Z. Okay.
Ill-defined.
Ill-defined Gen
Yeah,
Z.
he was
Okay.
born after 95, right?
Yeah.
Well, after now.
Well.
When were you born?
89.
She's a young one.
95 to 2010 are Gen Z.
Okay. Yeah. I just got excited because every once in a while, you know.
Technically, I am Millennial, Gen Y, Generation Next, and so is Dario, according to this.
Generation Next. That's like Pepsi. You love Pepsi. Britney Spears.
I don't love Pepsi, but I love Britney Spears. I'm a Coke girl.
Okay, so
Jane's a Pepsi girl.
Definitely.
back to the question I so rudely interrupted when I realized that we had a different generation on the podcast. What was it again?
Respect and trust. Is that a big deal to you, Jacob? Since you're 17 already?
I guess so. Like, I really like to be independent and stuff. But I think it's different when you're working for someone else. Because you don't decide yourself what to do. At least not everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a good feeling to know that your boss trusts you. And that will probably make you, like, feel better about going to the workplace every day and stuff like that.
What do you think about the work culture here to which you've witnessed, not just shadowing Kurt, but you've had the opportunity to be in and out of the building a couple of times? What would your assessment be of the work atmosphere?
Well, I really like that you can have fun while doing your job. And you can do it, like, properly and still have fun.
Yeah, we do that. We have no fun at the Leadership Center, ever. Okay, sorry. So you like having fun?
Who doesn't?
I'm the fun squisher of the team, so I don't know. Do you think people get along here pretty well and like what they do?
Yeah, seems like that.
Okay. Cool.
It could be an act. I don't know if you think.
It could be an act, but that would be a really hard act to keep and follow when you don't know when the random Norwegian's going to walk through the door.
It's a lot of effort.
Norwegian exchange student is going to walk through the door.
There could be a random Norwegian.
There could be. What do you know about the work culture in Norway?
It's very, like, split up. Yeah.
Okay, what's that mean?
Because you have the people that work and have a family and work very hard and they get a lot of benefits, and then you have those that you don't have to work in Norway if you, like, don't want to. You can live without working because of the
government and such.
So yeah, you have those that just don't work, and some people can't work, of course. So it's good that we have that for them, but then you have those that could probably work normally but just don't want to.
So I think that's where we're at. Is we have a lot of people who either can't work and shouldn't work, or might not want to work and are working.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it very hard sometimes. So not that we're not getting good qualified candidates at times, but we've had times where it's been probably more ample.
Where there were more people seeking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any small business that has part-time employees, you always are going to run a risk of someone who's just, they don't want to work. You know, there's a reason why maybe they're applying for part-time jobs. Maybe they know they can't handle a full-time job, or that would just be too much time for them.
Could be.
And I don't know as far as, programs where, government programs, I don't know that you can live off a government program in the United States. I don't know.
I don't know.
Unless it's Social Security, disability.
Can you even do that?
I don't know.
Now, I do have a question for Michaela. So, Michaela, you hire interns, and all of the interns that work at the Leadership Center apply with you, even if they work under other departments. What are you seeing in the intern pool when you interview? Or what do you wish you were seeing? Any of that? What's the spectrum?
We had this discussion last week. I've been pretty fortunate that most everyone that has applied for an internship or has been hired as an intern for the most part, everyone has had a really great work ethic. They've been self-starters for the most part. I haven't had to micromanage them or hold their hand throughout the workday. There has been a couple of instances where I have had to do that. And they just feel like things should be handed to them. But I've been, like I said, very fortunate that I've found people have applied that do have a really great work ethic and they don't shy away from hard work.
And when you go out looking for interns in any of the departments, what would you say the top 3 things you look for either within resume or interview?
I think how you carry yourself in an interview. I definitely look at if you can roll with the punches. I think that's incredibly important, especially to work closely with me and closely with the office. But in hospitality in general, you need to be able to roll with the punches. And I look at how they interact, if they can be relaxed in an interview. And then I do look at, lots of times I ask people to do projects before we come in for an interview and such. So I look at how they handle those tasks, whether they make it their own and really creatively attack it, or if they just do bare minimum.
Yeah, or if they can take direction at all.
Mm-hmm. Or if they ask questions. If they ask questions, I find that to be a very good sign as well, because I know they're taking it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And they're putting thought and effort into it.
In episode 2A, which no one will get to hear because we had technical difficulties.
The last episode.
The last episode, yes. I thought it was really interesting what Dario said when he's interviewing individuals. He gives them a task without them realizing it's a task because he wants to test if they're listening. So it could be as simple as, when you come to your interview, make sure you wear your favorite team shirt, or make sure this is, but they're really kind of latent and really it's a test to see if you listen. And he can tell a lot about a person if they do or don't.
He does that secretly throughout the interview too.
Mm-hmm.
In little ways that nobody notices.
Well, we notice because we look for him, but they don't.
He's a wizard.
He is a wizard. I never thought about that. Maybe he is, huh?
I'm not going to ask him.
So...
I would, but...
I don't want him to turn me into a frog.
Okay, so, Kurt, you don't necessarily do a lot of hiring, although you do have people under you. You don't do hiring a ton. But you spend a lot of time in the classroom educating, along with me, with people in leadership and different opportunities. What do you take in your position? What are you doing specifically to help potentially address future career people? How do you say that?
Sure. What's your question?
I can't. I want you to know what my question is, but I don't know what it is.
How do you start?
Yeah, why don't you know what my question is, Kurt? Well, how are you helping equip future job seekers?
I think that if I'm equipping future job seekers, or if I'm just part of the machine here, because I think that we're equipping a lot of teenagers with job skills.
We absolutely are. I agree.
You take a look at the 18 to 20-year-olds that kind of left us this summer and went to college or went back to college. They've got skills where they could step into a hotel, right? I mean, without much training at all.
Mm-hmm.
And, they could step in, one of them's a couple of them are going to Kearney. And, you've got a couple hotels that have conventions there at Kearney. I mean,
I'm pretty confident that they could step into a conference facility and know how to set up. I'm pretty confident they could also probably pick up a job at a country club.
Oh yeah.
And be just fine.
Oh yeah.
We had some kids who are leaving the kitchen that could walk into a hotel kitchen or a hotel or a catering business or a restaurant. Absolutely no issue. And then we have the individual that went out to Shadron who I think we could drop her anywhere and she would be just fine. So it's really remarkable, the flexibility and the broad amount of skills they got and experiences that allowed them to learn them.
Yeah. And probably most retail settings.
Mm-hmm.
Most of they're almost like our graduates when we send them away.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
How about in programs that we do? I know you addressed part of this in the blog, but for the people who don't read the blog or want the cliff notes.
Well, if you don't read the blog, you're just silly. But so I kind of wrapped the blog up by comparing the respect and trust, which is number 1 and number 3 things that keep people at their current jobs and makes people happy in their job or satisfied with them, relates to that's the thing that kindergartners want. When they're at kindergarten, they want to be respected and they want to be able to trust people. Because I always think, well, kindergartners, if you lie to them, if you change your story, if they can't trust you, they can have meltdowns. The example I used was, if you said you're going to have chocolate milk and you didn't have chocolate milk, some 5-year-olds
Going to be really upset.
Now, some of them aren't, but some of them are. But every 5-year-old has a meltdown over something that they didn't expect or they didn't think was going to happen, and to me they see that as mistrust. And then respect. As far as respect, when little kids play, if the one kid doesn't respect the other kid or how they're playing, even if they have no information on how they're playing, they get upset.
Yeah. So when they don't want to share.
Yeah. Or if you take without asking.
Yeah. Okay. I know that we spend a lot of time in Explore on some of the characteristics of interviewing and gratitude and service and kindness. I think about one of the things that comes to mind as we're talking about this is one of my favorite programs we've done, and that is with the Grand Island Northwest Vikings. They're boat crew leaders. I think about the work that we've done and what we've helped them accomplish in regards to leadership and community and mindset. I can't help but think that that's going to be advantageous for when they go out to the job market.
So you're talking about their football team?
Yep.
Okay. Because you and I say boat crew leaders and people...
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I feel like you're... Sorry.
About? So basically, the captains of their football team. We did some training on mindset and the importance of unity and how...
It was community, teamwork or leadership and mindset.
Yeah, and how to build a positive culture within their team.
Yeah.
And they've been great. But the point of high school athletics, the big picture point of high school athletics, is to build young people into strong adults.
Mm-hmm.
To build them and to help them mature into someone who can accomplish tasks, set out to achieve goals,
face adversity,
learn how to deal with failure, because there's not many state champions every year, so every other team fails.
I didn't even think of that race we were talking about yesterday, the big backyard.
Oh, yeah. The race.
Yeah.
With one winner and everybody else gets last.
Yep. And there's a new race out by the guy who invented the Barkley Marathons, which not a lot of people care about or know about, but it was on Netflix and it is on Amazon Prime. Look it up, the Barkley Marathons, the race that eats their young. It's this insane race, but the founder of that race just founded a new one, and it's an ultra, and it's like the big backyard, the big yard ultra, and what it is a 4.1125 course, and you have to complete a loop on that course every hour. And the last person running to complete a loop is the winner, and everyone else DNFs. So we're looking at it, and I forget what the record was of this guy, but he did like 287 miles or something. And the person who took second was Courtney Dauwalter, who is a phenomenal ultra runner. She ran Moab 240 in 57 hours, a remarkable 10 hours and 22 miles ahead of the next person. And she was a DNF because she finished one loop behind him.
DNF means did not finish. For those of you that don't run ultra marathons.
Sorry. I thought everybody did.
That's all right. The people that listen to our podcast probably know what it is.
Yeah, Joe Rogan. Shout out to Joe. Cameron Haynes. I'm going to start speaking this into existence. Cameron Haynes, Joe Rogan, Jakob Loe, who does not run ultras, but he's a Navy SEAL, so dude, you just want to know him. Courtney DeWalter, I just want her to be my friend.
Leif Erikson.
Viking spirit. We have the heart of Leif Erikson in our room with Jakob, who is also a runner. He actually just ran his first 10.5 mile race this last weekend. He took second to a guy who was like 32.
Yep.
He was flying. Like, he came by and he said, "Hi, Miley!" So fast. It was like a bullet. He was the Norwegian speeding bullet.
Do you have a nickname?
No.
You have a nickname for him?
Julie.
How do you say that in Norwegian?
Julia.
Julia! It's Julia!
Or Yake.
Yake. Julia. Yake. Loe.
Do you have a nickname? Like you're gonna go back to Norway someday?
We just use last names.
Just last name?
Yeah.
Loe. I can't say it.
What's your nickname? Wiss?
Wiss, yeah. It's better than
Other things.
other things.
She's Mach 1.
It depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
Mo.
Layla.
Yeah, me and Layla.
Layla.
She also gets mixed up for people like Mickey, Mackenzie,
Mm.
Dario has his own nickname for me, but
Michelob.
you said Michelangelo.
I don't have an... Oh, yeah, Michelangelo.
When telemarketers call here, they give Miley a nickname. They call her
Melee?
Mail.
Melee.
Melee.
Marley.
If they don't know who you
Millie.
are.
Really?
Yes,
Marl.
could I talk to Mail?
Mail boater.
I'm
Mail.
just going to say this. If you don't know us, why are you calling us to sell stuff that we don't want?
Sometimes, Kurt, they don't have a choice.
Yeah, it just
that
dials.
true?
Yeah, because it's an
you
automatic
don't have
dial.
a choice.
Because
You
you
don't dial the
telemarketed,
phone.
but you also did customer support.
Yeah, on Timex watches.
Computers
Casio.
dial.
Casio watches, that's right.
Casio products.
Could you set my watch?
No. I'll throw your watch.
Are you still in customer service?
I am.
If a guest
In a
came...
different way, though.
If a bride could not set her watch the day of the wedding, would you set it for her?
I would try.
See.
But if it was a Casio product, I would, under my breath, be... Yeah.
Read the manual.
But anyway, computers call. You don't actually sit there and push
I know,
buttons.
it's just a dial.
Computers just dial.
Because there's a regular basis where she gets a call about car insurance a lot. And she's like, please take me off the calling list. And this poor person's probably like, I'd like to, only I don't have the list. I'm just hooked up to a computer. AI is taking over the world of customer
Although
service.
you can't, at least when I was a telemarketer, you had a button to push or check or whatever it was that was do not call.
Oh. A button? Like on... What
Yeah, on
does
your
this
chair.
red button do?
Yeah, no, on the computer. Because you had to fill in stuff on the computer while you're typing, along with your script that you had to read.
You had a script?
Oh yeah, you had a script. that you
Hello,
had
does
to
it say,
read.
hello, my name is Daisy?
Hello, my name is Michaela, and I'm calling from
Hello, my name
Whatever.
is Sam.
Dex, whatever.
Okay.
Phone books. Are you so-and-so? Is this your current address? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but you have to read it, word for word. You can't deviate from the
What if you
script.
did? Would the computer zap you?
No,
Does it
the
have a
computer-
taser?
You can try, but managers listen in on you every so often.
Oh.
Like, you never know when a manager or an HR department is going to listen in on you.
I'd be like, so how about that strawberry cake? Did you like it?
You know what? There's a lack of trust right there. They're listening in on you every so often, right?
So we were listening. That's a part of the book we're reading this week.
Exactly.
We are... So at the... Wait. I don't want to start on this bit till you finish what you're going to say.
Oh. Everything happened through a headset. Like, very rarely did you have... interaction with anybody else on the floor.
Did you work in the Hunger Games?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
You had your own little cubicle. Like, you all sat in rows, and there was little
At the end of the shift, did they fire a cannon?
No, but you had to, like...
Boosh!
Take your headphones and your ear coverings and...
I am really happy to hear that you had your own ear coverings.
They had a box that you could take to your... And you just
Were the odds ever in your favor?
Yes, all the time.
Okay, so what I was saying is, here at the Leadership Center, the core management team is a part of a book club, and we read books. And currently right now we are reading Simon Sinek's book, Leaders Eat Last. And in there, they were talking about a guy who took over a company that I cannot say. Cannot say what that name is.
Not that you can't say, it's just like,
I can't
a weird name.
Yeah, I should find it.
But there was a couple weird name companies there.
Do you want to tell the story?
Well, yeah, it's a factory, and everybody's grumpy because, and I've been there, everybody's grumpy because they don't value people and they don't trust them. You clock in, there's a whistle, you clock out for lunch, there's another whistle, you clock in. And this happens, I'm telling you, this happens in 90% of at least 90% of the manufacturing plants in this country, and probably other countries, that there's people in the office, and then there's the factory workers, and they're treated as if they're in
Two different worlds. I think
I clean somewhere that's like that.
2 different worlds.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
They there's signs that plant employees have to use the break room bathrooms, and office employees use the office bathrooms.
Right, because you don't want those dirty factory people in the clean office bathrooms. I've seen that in at least 3 places I've worked.
So here at the Leadership Center, you can use any bathroom except for other guests' rooms,
Private
bathrooms.
Yeah, don't go into.
You can't be doing
lodges.
that, but you can use any bathroom, and I think that's important.
Well, and think of it: you're a grown person, and you have to ask permission to go to the bathroom.
It's so
I mean,
weird.
that happens in so many manufacturing plants.
I mean, I don't know how the
does.
plant is that I clean at, but...
Well, it's just, I think it's interesting. I love the fact that
I didn't know their bathroom.
we have departments because we have specific areas of service. But I thought it was interesting when we were discussing the first part of the book in this book club, which if you have not read Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek, highly, highly suggested. If nothing else, Google his TED Talk and watch it because it's very good. I wouldn't mind having Simon Sinek tweet this out too. He's pretty cool.
Please, Mr. Sinek.
You're awesome. I follow him on Instagram. It's pretty good. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting how he talked about the bell. The bell. Like, I think that's why I didn't survive as a teacher. I didn't like the bells. And here, what I was saying is that we've got departments, but we are the hospitalitic authority. We work together to serve our guests and create moments that matter. And each of our staff members have been empowered to do that. Now, not everyone has access to payroll or to files or to money, but everyone has access to the people who have access to that if they need it. But more importantly, they have access to go get the tables or the chairs or the kitchen food or whatnot because we want them to be empowered to do that. And I couldn't imagine taking that away. And I know what it was like when we didn't have it.
Well, and it's trust in, you know, when you're building something, like you're on an assembly line, things have to keep moving, correct?
Mm-hmm.
They have to. You can't just stop the whole process whenever someone wants to stop it. But it is that bad in some places where you can't do anything.
So we have a business...
Like they don't trust you. But my point is, they don't trust you to go to the bathroom and come back and do your job. But they hired you.
Yeah.
And so the question I have is, why did you hire someone that you don't trust to do the job you hired them to do? Why did you hire them?
Mm-hmm. Well, so we have a group here right now doing a HazWhopper training. That word is so much fun, HazWhopper. I didn't has a Whopper at Burger King. It's has Whopper.
Hazardous waste and something perceived.
I don't know.
Emergency.
So they're talking about safety. And at lunch, the facilitator said, "Hey, Miley, how you doing?" I said, "Great." And he's like, "How's your day?" I said, "It's wonderful. How is yours?" And he said, "What? Great." I said, "How are they learning stuff?" And he looked at me and was like, "Are you all learning?" Like, "Yes." And I said, "What's the number one thing you've learned?" And they said, "The most important thing we've learned is that we're responsible for our own safety." And I said, "Why?" And they said, "Because if I'm safe and I can prevent harm towards myself, it means that I am making the workplace safer for everybody else. And therefore, I am responsible for everybody else's safety." And I said, "Can you do that for everyone?" And they said, "Well, you have to. You have to trust that everybody is going to have that." I thought, that's really great. Because I don't feel like you'd have that in the bells and whistles factory. But of all the places you'd need that kind of trust would be in the bells and whistle factory. So, I don't know.
And what you'd have to do in that situation is, if you've got the bells and whistles factory, you're just going to plug those people through their HAZWOPER training and not care if they took it serious or not.
So I asked one of the guys at the table after their facility, I'm like, "Does this suck?" He's like, "Well, it sucks that we have to go through this because we know it, but it's important that we do it so we can say we've done it. And it says to our fellow employees, we care." I thought, well, that's good. Because when we see people sometimes come in and out and they don't care.
Yeah.
And we think of some of the trainings they've gotten to go through, we're like, I'd love to be able to go through that training, but we're a little bit different mindset, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that they have to do, and some of them have been through it.
Like our pool safety.
Right. You have to do it. You have to learn it. But yet, part of you feels like you're jumping through a hoop. Just to
Mostly because I don't want people to know how gross humans are when it comes to managing a pool. I don't want to know how gross humans are when it comes to managing a pool.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. I'm off on a pool note.
I'm sorry, too.
Okay.
I don't know what we're talking
Lordy.
I mean, we should wrap this up.
Yeah. Any words of wisdom from Jakob Loe?
Jakob.
What have you learned so far today?
Something.
Yeah, tell us something.
Well, since I've never had a job, I didn't know anything about this kind of stuff. But yeah, I think feel better about my next year now.
Okay.
Because yeah, I was before your first job, you're really unconfident and afraid of doing mistakes and getting fired. But there's so much you don't know, and yeah, seeing young people work here, and yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, if John can do it, you can do it. If Lizzie can do it, you can do it. Or if Sarah can do it, or Wyatt, or Jeremiah, Kurt can do it. Reggie
can do it.
What, just so people know, you job shadowed today. What are the things you've gotten to do today?
Been in your meeting.
And what was the meeting?
Wrap up for the week and book club. And then
You worked on a board that's going to go to marketing
in
a couple of weeks. Yeah. Okay.
And then, we had fun.
It was pretty boring. He was watching me.
Be you?
Be me.
That's like watching moss grow in water.
I know. Well, I was gonna tell him, okay, listen, Jakob, but I didn't tell him anything. It's he's gonna show up, he's gonna shadow. Some days nobody needs anything. Some days, there have been days where I run around.
You get your steps in.
Chasing cords and
paper
towel rolls.
Here's what happened while Jakob was here, though. So when he got here, you were off changing a coffee machine, and then you get to have lunch or you get to have breakfast with the staff. And that might seem something frivolous, but that's actually really important. That's about building our community. And you came in here and you got to experience the office, which is just, it probably needs a passport. But we were doing letters of encouragement to one of our clients. We were discussing a meeting. Michaela was finalizing numbers. We were also going over reservations for a business trip that we were taking. Filling Jane in on some stuff. Helping a guest with a couple of other things. The phone rang. Then we had to go to a meeting with our core team where we went over what we call cheat sheet, which is Jakob was like, I didn't know that you guys discussed every event that's coming and going. But so we're all on the same page. We had core book club, which I don't know that every business does that, but I really love that our team does. And we did it in a local business. It was super happy to see us coasters.
Coasters.
Yeah, and what kind of exciting because Dario is the deal of the week guy, and we brought the deal of the week guy with us to the place that had the deal of the week. Mind blowing. I came back. We're going to what conference are you going to?
Going to the Nebraska School Counselors Association conference in a couple weeks.
For and why?
Working their exhibit hall, and I'm trying to spread the message of our leadership programs and personal growth programs to the school guidance counselors.
Okay. And those specifically are Fleet, which is a personal coaching.
Yeah, okay, so Fleet, where it's interview skills.
Mm-hmm.
The Explore Conference, which is our flagship personal growth and leadership conference in the summer. MAPS, which is our team trainings. And then Bearings, which is our transition program from middle school to high school.
And our newest program, the Core Experience. The Core Experience
is a standalone 50-minute workshop about community.
And it's pretty cool, actually.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out. D-Tonic would tell you, it's great.
Yeah.
All right, so you got to see all that, and I mean,
take part.
Yeah, and you got maple plate chicken and French fries, and cherry crisp.
Mm-hmm. It was good.
Yeah, Chef John's pretty awesome, isn't he? And his team. So, what will be the one thing you will take away from your experience?
One thing.
Mm-hmm. Like one valuable nugget outside of all the fun you had, and the fact that you got to have hot cocoa on the clock, though you weren't actually being paid.
I guess experience maybe.
Okay.
Or yeah, I don't know.
Are we a team you'd want to be a part of?
Well, yeah. I mean, I hope my workplace will be like this.
You hear that, Norway?
Maybe not do the same, but...
Kurt, Michaela, Dario, and myself, along with the Johns and Jane, we're all available to come over and train your workforce. You just let us know, country of Norway. Could you call the queen or something and let her know?
You still have a queen?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
There.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The king and the queen.
King and a queen.
Yeah.
And a queen.
Wow.
Oh.
Well, then we're just perfect. We're going to wrap it up. This has been the Hospitality Authority podcast here at the Leadership Center in Aurora, Nebraska. Here's to our guest, Jakob Loe. Make sure he doesn't end up in a bells and whistles paperclip factory in Norway. This is the Hospitality Authority podcast. Leadership Center. We create moments that matter.